I'll contact Bobby McDonald and we'll be on our way. All right, Bobby got our van. Here we are arriving at Fort Missoula, home of the 25th Infantry, the Bicycle Corps, and the Iron Riders. Our next stop is Wallace, Idaho. Wallace is the principal town of the Coeur d'Alene Silver Mining District, which produced more silver than any other mining district in the United States. The relationship between Wallace and the Buffalo Soldiers dates back to the late 1800s during the mining strike that occurred in this area, along with the Great Fire or the Big Burn of 1910. A unique feature of Wallace, Idaho is that it sits in the center of the universe. Here we see Trooper McDonald and Trooper Brown standing in the center of the universe in Wallace, Idaho. Here, Trooper Brown and myself are at the Hiawatha Trail. Hiawatha Trail is part of the National Rails to Trails program, where they take old railroad lines and convert them to bicycle trails. It's considered to be one of the most beautiful and scenic routes of the rails to trails in the country. And we're happy to be here to honor and celebrate the opening of the Hiawatha Trail for the 2019 season. While Trooper Brown and I were exploring the Hiawatha Trail, Trooper McDonald was in Spokane, Washington, being interviewed by Vern Wendell. We were honored to have members of the Wallace Chamber of Commerce sponsor a delicious dinner for us over at Albi's. Later in that evening, we met many of the town folks at the Silver Corner Bar. The next morning, we had breakfast at the Red Light Garage. We had lunch at the 1313 Club. All in all, a fun time was had by all. Now here we are at the main event, the meet and greet at the Depot Museum in downtown Wallace. This was a well-attended event, thanks partly to Bobby's interview on the PBS radio station the day before. We had people coming from all over the area to listen to us talk about the Buffalo Soldiers and the Iron Riders. There were folks from Arizona, Canada, and the west side of Washington State and the local area. We were glad to meet and talk with everyone, and there were additional interviews being had while we were there. If you weren't there, it was a great event.
Welcome to the 35th anniversary of the Black Chamber here at the wonderful Grove in Anaheim, California. Along with my wonderful compatriots that were up here in Wallace, Idaho with the Wallace Chamber of Commerce, the historic Wallace Chamber of Commerce, who hosted us while we were here to honor the 25th Infantry Group that came up and protected Wallace and Avery and some of the other towns.
We are currently walking on hollow land. Another western fort that was home for the Buffalo Soldiers. I'm currently at Fort Missoula in Montana. Fort Missoula was built in 1877. That's basically 11 years after the Buffalo Soldier regiments were formed by an act of Congress in 1866. 11 years after this fort was built, the famed 25th Infantry was moved to Fort Missoula to help bring order to the northwestern frontier. And this was the home of the 25th Infantry. This beautiful valley along the Clark River in Montana. Now, on the fort, they have some old structures. One interesting thing they have here is this railroad engine and the track, at least, off of the fort grounds and to locations unknown. As I walk around the fort, I can imagine members of the 25th Infantry out here as they did their daily tasks of garrison duty, something that was thought that they would not be able to do because they didn't have the intelligence, the military bearing, the ability to learn and understand military ways. But they proved them wrong time and time again.
What a great road trip. 2,700 miles, 7 states, and met a lot of great people along the way. After we dropped Trooper Brown off, we headed back home to Los Angeles. Welcome home.